The final movement required him to hurt himself carefully. Careless pain was noise. It scattered thought, tightened flesh, and turned chi into broken sparks. Useful pain had shape. It entered at a chosen angle, burned through a chosen channel, and left behind a mark the body could follow later. Lin Fan took the crushing pressure around his root junction and narrowed it into a line. The line ran from the lower dantian to the right palm. Every inch of the path burned. His meridians were too thin for it. The chi threads scraped their inner walls raw. Poison residue stirred in response, trying to follow the movement into the arm. Lin Fan closed 3 minor channels and forced it back. The effort made his vision darken at the edges again. His face did not change. Outside, the square saw a thin outer disciple standing before the spirit root pillar with one palm flat against the black stone. His robe was worn. His sleeves were tied poorly. His posture was straight but not proud. Nothing about him explained the pillar's hesitation. That made the hesitation worse. If he had shouted, strained, or forced chi wildly, the crowd would have understood how to mock him. If he had collapsed, they would have understood how to pity or despise him. If he had grinned, they would have understood arrogance. Calm gave them no handle. So unease spread. Why is he not reacting? A disciple whispered. Maybe he cannot feel it. Idiot. The pillar is drawing from his root. Then why? No one finished. Xianxu's fingers dug into his own sleeves. He had stood on the platform moments earlier, proud of a mid-grade mixed root. He remembered the warmth of the pillar, the pressure in his palm, the way his breath had caught when the light touched the third vein. It had felt immense then. A moment worthy of carrying in his chest all morning. Now Lin Fan's light hovered near the same height after rising from obvious weakness, and Xianxu felt his own result being dragged down without anyone saying a word. He hated the feeling. Hate did not restore confidence. Elder Gu moved closer to the pillar. Lin Fan, he said. The name sounded different in his mouth now. Earlier, it had been a mark in a register. Now it was a question. Lin Fan did not turn his head. Yes, Elder. Did you consume anything before the test? No. Did anyone treat your body with medicine? No. Have you previously been tested by another pillar? No. Each answer was true. Truth, used carefully, was less fragile than lies. Elder Gu watched his face. Are you in pain? The question was sharper. Lin Fan could deny it. He could admit a little. He could pretend confusion. Each choice shaped the elder's suspicion. He chose the most useful truth. A little. The steward stared at him. A little. The spirit root pillar had begun emitting a low vibration strong enough to make the bamboo register tremble. The green light around Lin Fan's hand had deepened and cleared, and the third silver vein glowed in uncertain pulses. Any disciple with sense knew that something was happening inside his root. Even ordinary testing pressure made weaker disciples wince. Lin Fan called it a little. Elder Gu's eyes narrowed. Xianxu's throat moved. Lin Ro's fingers tightened around her satchel strap until her knuckles whitened. Inside Lin Fan, the pain had become a white room. There was no furniture in it. No memory. No future. Only the line from dantian to palm and the spirit root suspended behind it, half exposed, half sealed, trying to decide what shape it would remember after the method ended. He placed his will against the root. Not power. Will. Power would tear it. Will could instruct it. You were measured once and believe the measure. Never again. The root trembled. The green-black thread held open. The pillar's array tried to read the command and failed. It translated a fragment of it into light. The glow rose above the third vein. The square erupted. It passed Xianxu's. Mid-grade? No, it started low-grade. Can the pillar be wrong? Quiet. The last word came from Elder Gu, and this time his chi pressure struck the square hard enough to make several disciples stumble. Silence fell in broken pieces. Lin Fan felt the pressure land on his body. His knees remained straight. The elder was not targeting him directly, but even the outer edge of the command could have disrupted the forbidden method if his control had been weaker. He let the pressure flow over the surface. The final movement began. He drew the chi thread back from the pillar. Slowly. The testing array resisted. It wanted completion. It had touched an abnormal response and now sought to classify it. Lin Fan could not simply pull away, the sudden backlash would tear the open route. He had to make the pillar believe the reading was ending naturally. He lowered the visible blow by degrees. Above third vein. Third vein. Below third. Clear green. Muddy edge. The crowd's confusion deepened. Elder Gu stepped close enough that Lin Fan could see the gray stitching on his sleeve reflected in the pillar. "Do not withdraw yet," the elder said. Lin Fan's expression remained respectful. Disciple is following the pillar's pull. Again, true. He was following it into a path of his choosing. Elder Gu placed his own hand near the pillar without touching Lin Fan. A thin thread of elder-level chi entered the base array. Danger. Lin Fan adjusted instantly. If Elder Gu's chi reached the lower delay, he would see signs of manipulation. Not the full method, but enough to know Lin Fan had done something intentionally. At current strength, Lin Fan could not block him directly. So he gave the elder something else to see. He loosened a tiny portion of the poison ring. Impure green-gray chi seeped into the pillar's return channel. The stone reacted with a faint crackling sound. Elder Gu's attention shifted to the impurity. His brows tightened. Root contamination? The steward inhaled. Lin Fan kept his gaze lowered. Root contamination explained much while revealing little. It could explain the initial weak reading. It could explain the fluctuation. It could explain pain. It could also explain why a low-grade root temporarily showed clearer light after the pillar's pressure disturbed the contamination. A neat explanation for people who wanted one. But Elder Gu was not foolish enough to be satisfied completely. Good. Complete satisfaction would end interest. Total suspicion would invite confinement. Partial explanation left room for investigation and greed. The elder's chi brushed the impurity and recoiled slightly. Not because it was strong. Because it was wrong. The poison residue had interacted with the green-black thread during the method. For one breath, it carried a hint of the future reforging path. Bitter, cold, and difficult to classify. Elder Gu sensed the value but not the source. His eyes sharpened. Hold still. Lin Fan was already still. The elder sent another thread of chi toward the pillar. Lin Fan let it come closer this time. The pain spiked. He used it to close the root junction. The open split in the green-black thread sealed into a tiny internal mark, invisible to the pillar now, but present in the root's memory. The poison ring locked around it in dormant shape. The chi thread withdrew from the palm. The pillar lost its hold. Green light shuddered. For one breath, a clear line rose again to the third vein. Then it collapsed to the second. Then to the first. Then the light went out. The spirit root pillar fell silent. Lin Fan removed his hand. Every nerve in the arm screamed. His knees wanted to fold. Blood filled his mouth. He swallowed it again and lowered his hand into his sleeve before anyone could see the fingers tremble. The platform remained quiet. The steward looked at the pillar, then at Elder Gu, then back at the register. His brush hovered over the blank space beside Lin Fan's name. Low-grade would no longer fit. Mid-grade did not fully fit either. Root contamination explained the instability, but the clear third vein response could not be dismissed in front of so many witnesses. Elder Gu said nothing for several breaths. Those breaths belonged to Lin Fan. He used them to keep standing. Inside, the body was in poor condition. Root junction inflamed. Poison ring unstable. Dantian gate strained. Right meridian scraped. Blood loss internal but manageable. Fever likely within 2 hours. Collapse likely within 4 if untreated. Opportunity window before confinement or questioning, uncertain. Need to leave square. Need avoid medical inspection. Need secure materials before night. Zhang Hu stared at him from below the platform. The bully's face no longer held laughter. It held calculation trying to be denial. Lin Fan turned his head slightly and looked at him. Zhang Hu stepped back before he realized he had moved. The motion was small. Several disciples saw it. Lin Fan looked away. Do not crush him here. A wounded dog bit loudest when cornered in public. Let Zhang Hu carry fear back to a private place. Fear in private grew mold. It changed the flavor of decisions. The crowd understood the step before Zhang Hu did. Outer disciples lived by small movements. Who stood first when an elder appeared? Who reached for food before others? Who moved aside on a narrow path? Who laughed loudly, who laughed late, who stopped laughing when a stronger disciple turned? A half step backward was not merely distance. It was admission made by the body before the mouth could repair it. The nearest disciples lowered their eyes, but not quickly enough. Zhang Hu saw their awareness. His shame sharpened into a blade pointed in every direction at once. He wanted to deny the step, but denial would name it. He wanted to threaten Lin Fan, but Elder Gu's order still hung over the square. He wanted his followers to laugh, but they were waiting for him to prove laughter safe. No one helped him. That was the true nature of borrowed loyalty. Lin Fan let the moment pass without pressing it. Pressing too hard would give Zhang Hu an enemy to push against. Leaving him alone with the step forced him to fight himself. By sunset, he would remember it larger than it had been. By night, he would need to do something foolish to shrink it. Lin Fan could use foolishness. Pain pulsed again. He shifted his attention back inward before the body stole the moment. The dormant poison ring trembled around the root junction. The bitter taste of swallowed blood lingered behind his teeth. His right palm had gone numb in the center and oversensitive at the edges, a sign that the meridian scrape was worse than expected. If he lost control now, the calm face would crack before everyone. He counted 3 breaths. 1 to settle the Dantian gate. 1 to cool the throat. 1 to hide the trembling hand inside the sleeve. The hidden hand curled once. Lin Fan allowed that single movement because no one could see it and because denying every reaction completely would make the body rebel later. A controlled release prevented uncontrolled collapse. The fingers closed around emptiness, nails touching the palm without breaking skin, then opened again. The right hand had changed. Not visibly. Not in a way Elder Gu could record. But the meridian from palm to dantian had been scraped by the pillar's pull and forced to carry a cleaner signal than it had ever held. The channel was wounded now, but wounds could become routes if healed in the correct shape. Later, when he performed the first true root cleansing sequence, this arm would serve as the easiest external conduit. Unexpected benefit. Pain had expenses. It also left infrastructure. Lin Fan marked the right arm for future use and turned attention outward. The crowd still waited for Elder Gu's final word. Their faces formed a study in interrupted contempt. Some wanted to resume laughter but could no longer find the tune. Some wanted to admire him but feared being wrong. Some watched Zhang Hu because Zhang Hu's reaction would tell them whether old rules still applied. Zhang Hu was failing them. His mouth opened once, closed, then tightened. The mid-grade pride from his own result had not disappeared, but it had become defensive. Defensive pride smelled different from natural arrogance. The disciples around him sensed the difference and shifted their weight. Lin Fan kept his gaze on Elder Gu. Let the crowd notice who he considered worth watching. The social order of the square adjusted around that gaze. It was subtle, but Lin Fan felt it. A few disciples stopped looking to Xianxia for permission to react. They looked to Elder Gu, then to the pillar, then to Lin Fan. Authority had not transferred, that would be absurd. But attention had diversified. Xianxia no longer monopolized their fear within the outer quarter. For a bully, that was the beginning of starvation. Xianxia sensed it without understanding. His shoulders lifted, then lowered. He wanted to reclaim the crowd with a joke, a threat, a loud promise. Elder Gu's presence strangled all three. The result was a silence that made him appear smaller than his body. Lin Fan recorded the effect. Public uncertainty could weaken social control faster than direct victory. Later, when he needed to move through the outer quarter without constant interference, this morning would serve as invisible armor. Not protection, exactly. Hesitation. In the early stages, hesitation was more reliable than goodwill. Goodwill asked to be repaid. Hesitation asked only to be maintained. That made it cheaper. Lin Fan intended to buy much with cheap things before the sect realized the price had changed. The first purchase was silence. The second would be time. The third would be blood, but not necessarily his own. He did not need much blood yet. One exposed steward. One frightened bully. One reopened complaint. One contaminated ration store. These were not victories worthy of songs, but songs were for people who needed witnesses to believe they had moved. Lin Fan needed results. The outer mountain was full of small veins. Cut the correct one, and pressure above would shift. Elder Gu finally spoke. Record, wood root, contaminated, unstable mid-grade response. The steward hesitated. Elder, mid-grade? Unstable mid-grade response, Elder Gu repeated, voice cold. The steward wrote quickly. The crowd absorbed the phrase. Unstable mid-grade response. Not trash. Not clear talent. Not dismissible. The old fake cracked, but did not shatter loudly. Perfect. Lin Fan bowed slightly. Disciple thanks Elder. The movement sent a blade of pain through his abdomen. He kept the bow steady. Elder Gu looked at him. Remain after the test. Lin Fan had expected it. He had also prepared to avoid it. Yes, Elder, he said. Agreement cost nothing. Obedience could be decided later. He stepped down from the platform under the gaze of the entire square. No one laughed.